Yes, we are. The games are going to be underway. That battle bus loaded and already dropped through. We're looking at kind of the mid-early portion of these games. We're going to be looking over at the POI of Retail Row, I believe. And Artox is going to be moving over, checking out what he wants to do.
I believe already picking up an elimination there. You do see it there on your screen. Now, those crash pads in the inventory could use them to disengage. There's a couple players here in Retail. He definitely needs to get out of this, but today is going to be about, this is the first qualifier, so it's about new players getting their chance to come in and getting their chance to challenge for the throne. We've got old players like Benji, like Mongrel, like Savage here today as well, but you've got newer players like Artox, like Deox, like Realish, unfortunately falling there. We'll see how they're going to adapt to the meta with the crash pads being used. Artox going in and getting into a little bit of a 1v1v1. I don't know if he wanted to take this fight initially, but now the crash pad in, shots going through. He does get some damage off, does get some nice tags. He does pick up the elimination on the Deox, and he picks up another one as well.
That's two big elims for him, and that's so good because right now, the only way to get points is getting eliminations. You have to remember, the placement points start to come out when it's top 75. It's game number 1. These 15 players who have gone down basically have nothing to show for the competition thus far.
They do not, and that's the introduction of that new format. They broke it down for you there earlier today, but they didn't really see it come into effect, right? This is the first chance we get to look at it as we swap over to this is the damn POI, right? Not really named, but everybody knows where it is with that water level receding. It finally came back. We are on board here with MSR. Trying to farm out. They've got a player above them. We know that, this is pretty standard for the Fortnite scene. Those crash pads, though, are going to be concerning there for Ova up top. He could get into the box if he wants to, but we'll have to see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about stories of the map. We always bring our attention to stories for players who are playing out these games, but those kind of two things go underway because you have to pick a top spot first to be able to fight from. Right now, we'll see Razan Maher doing that straight up. Shoutouts to Omar, probably doing a watch party right now, too. He's going straight up for these shots. In his face is an SMG, but it does not matter because the tac shotgun, even with just 8 bullets left, does a big damage.
And that's one of the things we haven't talked about this season is there is the charge shotgun and there's a tactical shotgun. There's two to choose from. You no longer have that pump. It is just that charge or the tac, and it's been very, very, one or the other. You're either on the charge or you're on the tac, and we saw the advantage of the tac there, being able to rapidly shoot back. Kian actually going to move away from Snap there front with those crash pads. We'll see those used a lot. I'm surprised we're seeing them used as early as they are very, very monumental late game with those rotations, but not surprised here from Europe to get aggressive early. Snap, though, doesn't have the HP advantage anymore. The big shield was popped. He is going to try to crash pad in, but accidentally going to go over there.
And we're going to be looking at Snap's POV of how he starts off a tournament to kind of bounce into almost top 5. I believe he was top 20 when he wrapped things over, but this is him close and personal, actually getting taken out. So, okay, I'm not going to say Caster's Curse. Sometimes you have to lose a game to win a game. So maybe that's his strat. We'll see what happens. But Keon Ray will be the one to control Salty Springs.
They have claimed that POI, and how they're going to run around, look for anything else that they can, and just try to farm right back on up. It's very, very, very good for them to get that early healing because, again, the format we talked about now just getting to the point where you're almost going to get placement points. We're at 79 players, right? So 4 more players need to go down. We'll see if Benji's going to be one to do that.
POIs, points, placement, all of this basically just comes through to your legacy. And it's 2 different legacies right now that are being up for grabs or at stake for the European region. It's players like Benji Fishy, who we know are legends, who are in the top 5 in almost every competition across many regions, but also other players like Karma, who got first in the semifinals today, who are looking to triumph and take spots of that legend status that Benji holds, that Savage holds. This is another POV in seeing exactly how he ramps up his games. 0 points right now. We know this man is both a placement and an Elim warrior, but he's taking things by stride just as normally as he would, and we're looking at a legend status holding his position.
Legends all around. We've got Mongrel as well here today. He did clutch up with an 11 elimination. First place last game. It was absolutely insane. He's here today. Kylix is here. Definitely a staple name in the European region. He's actually going to go for a little surprise shot, and he does hit it. That player's going to be very, very low, if not 1 HP. The continued pressure should net him this elimination, and that's going to be good. Again, these are the only points you're getting right now. 4 more players need to fall. Alex, though, does have the disadvantage now with the chug splashes going off. He's not in his own boxes, trying to get in, trying to continuously put the pressure down, and he won't be able to find him just yet. Trying to take the wall. He does, and the cone goes in. The shot's going to go through. He misses one, but he capitalizes on the second one, and Frizzy is unfortunately going to get fried there.
Expert invasion tactics from Kylix there. Every single box that you thought was safe, Kylix is like, no, my pyramid's going to be in there. I'm going to take control of that wall. And this is also one of these spots. It might not be a big POI, but a spot on the map where clashes start to happen with these small hidden loot pads a lot of people like to take. If you guys aren't familiar with this location, I believe it's somewhere near Lazy Lake. There are a bunch of buses across the map. I might be even saying the wrong things. It seems stacks towards the north side. But, you know, you're trying to fight for not only these one-off chests that are clashing, you're trying to fight for slurp trucks that are around the map that give you such a big boost on where you want to move. A man with a boost on every competition, no matter what, especially when we get to endgame, is Mr. Savage. Right now, tuning in with him, waiting to get hot. 4 peppers, a launch pad. I feel like we're going to see him possibly win out this game here.
And if anybody could do it, it's got to be Mr. Savage. He's had an amazing run these past couple of months with the tournaments, right? Going back into the FNCS Invitational, he did very, very well. 15th place there in that one. And then DreamHack almost clutch got first place over Tiki. He had the miracle Cinderella run and then unfortunately fell there at the very last moment. So an amazing, amazing month for Savage. We'll see if he's able to keep it up as we swap away into a fight here just outside of Salty Springs, which seems to be a hotbed for fights. But wait a minute, we've decided to disengage Jason, trying to get some Storm Surge tags there, and he's going to get a beam, but the beam is going to be traded. So this is kind of just a back and forth. Who wants to disengage first? And now Jason going to be the one to prompt that disengagement. But not just yet is the wood going to prompt that player to go aggressive.
Yeah, this is kind of the merging of 2 different portions of the game. We've been tuning in with so many fast fights all the way early on when it comes to just owning your POI. Now we're getting a little bit towards that mid side. Good shot there over from Slove. It looked like he was about to go down, but he had a nice 2-tack to wrap things up. This is mid-game where Clay mentioned you're looking for Storm Surge tags, right? 70 is that number that the server wants to hit, and we're 6 over that right now. Sometimes, though, in getting tags, your box might be a little bit too close, or you might get an insane tag that pushes you over to that fight, that box fight that everyone loves to see. So Slove had that decision to make. He took it. Good quick elim. Not too much of a big base left behind. He'll get to move forward with a lot of materials and 1 point over many other people in this first game.
We're starting to get to where that placement threshold is going to come into effect. Again, 75 is that number, so it's that magic number everyone's waiting for. Then they start to see their points go up and up and up. As you swap over to the Authority, which is a very hotly contested place here in Europe, and we're on board here with Boyer, who's someone we haven't really seen much in the past, but we all know his name in Europe. We know E11 Boyer is an amazing player. We'll see how he fans out today. Right now, not looking so hot there with the mats in his inventory, but looking to try to get aggressive onto a player. Unfortunately, not going to get any tags. Now he has to try to make a move away from there because he doesn't want to sit in that base for too long. With the zone not being in his direction, he's going to have to make a very hard rotate down to the south.
And to give you guys a little bit of context about what you're seeing on screen, yes, that mini-map on the bottom right is going to be blacked out. It's just something that we're dealing with the replays. You'll have me and Clay and many other casters for different regions to guide you through where every player is going to be on the map, exactly what endgame will look like, if there's a mountain in the way. You know, we're kind of experts when it comes to looking at things. You guys are too, so just bear with us as we work through these different changes. But at the same time, yes, obviously Authority, you can never miss this POI, early, middle, or late game. And it looks like Boyer's in a very good spot, but choosing to move out, as I believe the zone might have shown us a better location for him to be in.
And right where he is now is not a good location. Down in that area, it's very easy to get sniped, very easy to get jumped upon there, and you got to move quickly. Someone who's not moving quickly, however, is Thomas. He's already based up in a nice wood base already outside of Misty. As you see, players rotating all around him there. He's just waiting to move and make a decision on that final zone. I think Flick is going to pick up an elimination there as we swap over. He did. I think it was a snipe there on the Vevi.
I mean, that's one big player to take out, especially when it comes to endgame, because I think Vevi might be one of the stickiest players that never goes down no matter how many boxes he gets trapped in. Flick, though, along with Thomas, too, we're switching between these two POVs. I love to see it because I feel like these guys are the silent warriors of Europe. You'll see them in the top 10, the top 5s of many different competitions. I believe during the Invitational, it was Thomas who came 4th, and he's looking to play once again past the round 2 stage now into round 3, trying to qualify for those heats. Flick all the way, though, with 1 placement point, 1 elimination. We saw the snipe play pointed it out. His mats are looking pretty good, too, for this end game, but I don't see any mobility here. I feel like crash pads are the #1 thing people want when going into end game. It'll just be Flick and his weapons that he's going to have to use to get every single shot down.
And he's also got his brain to rotate with. He's got the ability to look for those crash pads from other players as well as recycling the launch pads. But you mentioned Thomas HD with this sniper as well. Both Flick and Thomas seem to be very, very good with that sniper here in Europe. Every single time I'm looking at a replay, Thomas is hitting a snipe, Flick is hitting a snipe, everybody's hitting snipes these days. We'll see if Artux, though, is going to be able to use what he's got in his inventory to go for, a good in-game push as we swap over to Savin and Mr. Savage, who are on the end zone. You talked about Mr. Savage ramping it up. He's already popped one of those 4 peppers, and he is on the move.
Yeah, Savage is already using one of those big, fast minutes of time to just get past this storm line. It's not really good to be here because you never know who exactly might push down onto you, how far they could be in zone. He could also turn into the hunter, the predator. He does. Savage goes down with some nice shots on a Savin. He gets taken out, and that's an easy pickup.
Very easy pickup there for Savage. It didn't really cost him anything except for a little bit of HP ticks, but he has a flopper right there. It's so perfect here. He's got the peppers now in his inventory as well. This is what Savage wants. He wants a perfect setup. He is lacking a little bit there on the wood. He's going to go ahead and pop the pepper, not trying to get in any more engagement. He's got his elimination. Now he's moving on into the late game as you see a shot may have been put in his direction. We're going over towards where the damn POI is, as well as Rickety Rig and Slurpy Swamp. I want to point out Moraine is in this game as well. You talked about legacies and trying to build yours. Moraine is a player who's been trying to build theirs over the past couple of months.
Yeah, Moraine, the first OG DreamHack winner overall, and now he's back once again in another solo competition. These are always the tournaments that show your solo prowess without any other help in game. It's just you against the world, no teammates to rely on. And he was the first person to show us that he's miles ahead of the competition. So far, though, that statement has to be made again over here in the FNCS Solos Chapter 2 Season 3 tournament. Now there's more peppers overall. Floki, he's got his own way to carve in to this tournament, to this round 3. One thing I also wanted to mention, we saw it with Flick. Sniper rifles are such a big thing, and they have been since Season 2, since the last time we saw people with heavy snipers everywhere. Now it's going to be hunting rifles and sniper rifles. Less of an impact, but a faster fire rate. More ammo, I think, available overall around the map, too. So you'll be able to get more shots off. You always have to be careful rotating out in the open. Right now, once again, it'll be Recon on the hunt. Artox in his way. But these guys do not want to fight.
They don't want any engagement. They're just trying to farm up a little bit of mats as they're rotating in. Get those Storm Surge tags. Because you talked about Storm Surge going to be 70 was that first number. We're at it, so it's not going to be here. The next one's going to be 50. So they're going to need those tags as we get into that 4th and 5th zone. Nice box up here from Recon. He's got to be careful, though, with that code in his box, right? Has to be careful with the crash pads as well. That's usually why we start to see people put it in there when they're waiting in these bases and do that awkward little Dorito code edit there. But Recon, very, very smart here. We'll see exactly if he's going to be able to capitalize on his position in zone, as it is not the best with all these players around him. It's going to be a hard rotate. He does have the crash pads, though.
Yeah, he came 34th in those round 2 qualifiers for this section of the tournament we're looking at right now. A smart player indeed. Overall, it looks like he had some very nice sub-30 placements, so getting a lot of points out of every single game. About 3 elims per game, too. Right now, he has done. Looks like it's going to be an end-game warrior type of beat we're looking at from Recon here. This position, though, will net him a quick one onto Mick. He goes down. Recon gets all the way up in points, and 2 might seem low right now. Just take in, though, between 1st place and 100th place in the last round we just watched. It was basically a 30-point difference, 2 games of placements, a few eliminations here or there. Every single elim matters, especially now that everyone is in the same game, that we're in set lobbies. And it'll be monstrous players, legends you're going to be facing. Teak on your screen, sharing a base with Carrot. But this man looking to once again get first. He did pop off in those DreamHack finals. But is his legacy cemented? Is this man the best player of Europe so far? We'll know now after this competition.
And he's playing completely differently than he did in DreamHack. His average eliminations in DreamHack were like 1.88. Coming into today, into this round, he had a 4.4 average elims along those lines with those stats coming from, you know, just everything combined. But it's different. It's different from what he's been playing. He has been playing very placement oriented, but today, turning it up, ramping it up, he wants people to know, hey, it's me, it's Teak, I'm here. I'm in Europe. I want to make a name for myself. And if he's able to continue to do that, play his placement style, go for the eliminations when he knows he can get them. It's a very, very in-game elimination based here for a Teak as you see him start to fly through the air. I think he's got a chance to submit his legacy.
Yeah, let's just reel that back harder. Like, there's only 2 players right now with a sub-double-digit placement average threshold. Shuzi's at 15th with 8, but Teak has 4. Every single game, 4th place is his average. That is absolutely insane. And if he can do that with the top 3,000, I just want to see what he can do in the top 100 when things are slightly more consistent, when you know what to expect every single lobby. Right now, though, you're right, like 15 people, 14 now need to go down as Robabs gets taken out. Storm Surge is going to be underway in just a little bit when this zone basically ends up locking in. Dexy goes down to Recon, who now has 2 eliminations. Remember, on average, he gets 3 a game, so this might be a very hot and fast game for him. I think someone actually landed over, possibly, onto his base.
They actually just didn't make the jump far enough. So if you jump down there while swimming, you hit the bottom. If you didn't jump out far enough, you're going to go down to fall damage. And so Recon, being a very smart player, is like, hey, wait a minute. That's right there. I can go get that loot. And that's even better for him. It's going to set him up even more as we tune into an opposite perspective on the top of the dam. This is Hin, not Henchman there, just a name play there. He's got that sniper in his inventory, and he's looking actively for it. He doesn't have any mobility, though. And that's exactly what he's looking for here.
He's in big trouble because you say this is towards the top side of the dam. That's where people basically have to be right now, though. Look at the zone. It's all the way on the top left. Yes, Hen, nice elimination, but how much time are you spending? I understand Storm Surge, not that far above it, just about 100, 136. Have to get higher. He's stuck there, too, wasting a little bit more time just trying to get over to the next portion of the game. This might not be the spot, though, that you want to be at. Thomas is going to be all the way up top in his base, too. These are awesome positions. Really good bases, but they're not in zone. So these guys will all have to move. A lot of mobility is going to have to be used. No one wants to really take the risk to share things, especially with such a far base away. These crash pads can get shot out at any moment. As that half and half finally starts to lock in, Storm Surge is active. 2 people need to go down. Thomas is taking the big flyby and not getting shot once. Nice, slick rotation.
I was worried about him there when he started pulling that glider just a little too early. And oh my God! We talked about his snipes. We talked about Thomas HD hitting him time and time and again, and we hop on board, and he gets the grappler. That's such a huge power play.
A glider gun in his inventory. He has the #1 counter to the shockwave launcher in this game. And it's Thomas HD, like the man who places near the top when he's popping off. And right now it looks like he definitely is. Hands are hot. Aim's even hotter. Still, there's so many people lurking in the shadows. Benji Fishy down on low ground. Not a typical position we usually see him in. He's usually somewhere mid-ground towards these half and half zones, looking for his base. With the launch pad, he can quickly reposition. I'm keen on seeing how Thomas will play that mid-ground. I also want to know who has this shockwave launcher. As we know, it's the most likelihood of winning when you have that weapon in your arsenal. And right now, we haven't seen it yet. Caddy has not really made its mark or its statement in Game 1.
It has not, but it will definitely make its mark in the end game, as well as that authority POI, right? It's got Jules' glider gun there. As Benji looking to try to recycle something there, is unfortunately going to get shot out. He's just waiting. This is a predator stalking his prey right now. Benji knows exactly what he needs to do. He's going to be able to recycle a pad. He's got one in the inventory. He's got a harpoon there as well to try to get any sort of recycle. There's 50 players moving. That means now 18 players need to go down before that storm surge turns off, and Benji's not that far above.
He's not that far above. He needs some more shots, but not only that, look at where the zone is going. You guys might not be able to see it, but it's definitely going to be going right back over that mountain at any moment. Benji's looking forward. Nice quick pickup there onto another opponent. He has a lot of materials he can always siphon back into his inventory from distance with that harpoon gun. But at the same time, there's so many people just in the air, volatile. You can't really aim at anyone. Benji decides it's time to go. I'm wasting my time in that position. You want to be ahead of the zone right now, especially, as I mentioned, the threat of the mountain. We're right at its kind of base. Kha'Zix with a nice shot onto Frey. The flopper man is down, and Kha'Zix now has the fish up in his inventory. Another shot over from the storm. Kha'Zix lands 2. Can't really find more, though. Has to play those flops, and now he has to go completely vertical. This is going to be such a hard zone to climb.
This is the first time I've really seen floppers right now in this chapter. They've kind of phased out. They're still just as good, but there's other options here. There's chug splashes. There's so much more. But Kha'Zix is playing the whole meta very, very well. He's just adding crash pads to his inventory. Makes it in his own, makes it vertical, does pick up some eliminations as well. And now into a top 25 situation. He's in a very good spot. 49 builds remaining. He's recycled things very well. Crash pad there. He's actually going to somehow get height there. It's going to get shot out, but no, doesn't get it just yet, but he will battle for it. And there it is. It's secured. He's got height, but I don't know how many mats he's got to secure it with.
I just heard that caddy launcher drop down, so yeah, you mentioned it. He has height, does not have the resources to hold it for the whole game, does not have any harpoon guns in his inventory, so cannot actually grab mats. He'll get off of big impact shots. He drops all the way down as the caddy launcher goes all the way up. Now it's a height fight, but at the same time, there's people all the way chaosed into the storm. Everywhere is a bad decision to look at for Kha'Zix to land from, but the shots are there. Link goes down. Kha'Zix in the storm. The risk to actually grab the caddy launcher. He could be the one to win the game. Kha'Zix, from all different perspectives of the zone, inside, out, downwards, all the way to the top for height, has the best loadout to wrap things up. It's Teak, Hen, Rezon, so many different players he has to fight, though. Kylix also surviving at low. We're looking at one man trying to mutiny the entire lobby, just trying to take control of everyone. It's him against the world. These guys, though, have their own game to play at low grounds.
And I think it's Kha'Zix's world, and we're all just in it as shots are coming through from above. Thomas HD trying to make an edit play on the side. He does. He is going to take down one player. Eddie going to go down. Kha'Zix with that shockwave launcher on height. He's also got the crash pads to break the build so he can shockwave crash pad players. He's got to be careful he doesn't shockwave the crash pad and knock him off height. We saw that before. Thomas HD getting elimination on a Kha'Zix. Shots coming through. That player trying to go up. They're going to go down. Kha'Zix has still got the shockwave. 16 rockets in the inventory. He can continue just to throw players in zone just like that. Shots coming through. That's Thomas HD there with the grappler. He's continuously moving back in his zone. The shockwave, not that much as Thomas in a 1v1. No, he's going to get shot from outside zone. Kha'Zix shot him in his zone. Hin going to be in a 1v1. Shots go through. Kha'Zix does get the white tag, and I think he's going to be able to pick up the victory route. He hits the Renegade on his way out. A GG, well played.
That is